Yeah, x
X
plus
plus 10
10
and X minus 1.
minus 1. Good. Can you do me a favor? After you factor, you have to check. Is the constant multiplied by constant equals to negative 10? Inner, outer, right? Do the FOIL and do a little quick check. See if you factor properly. Because if this is the wrong factor, you'll get the wrong answer. Now, if a times b is 0, we can set x plus 10, right? This factor could be 0, or x minus 1 could be 0. Either one is 0, the product will be 0. So now we know x could be negative 10 or 1.
Didn't we learn this before in like algebra 1?
Yes, you learned this before. You can write your answer in the set as well. I have 2 answers for this equation. Yeah, either way is acceptable. Next. When you solve an equation, one big principle is you need to move all terms to the same side. Don't leave some term on the right, some term on the left. You can't do it. So move the 5 over. We got 3t squared minus 14t minus 5 is 0. Yeah? Then you factor. Whatever way you like to use, right? Your SVC method, I like to just find out the factor of the leading coefficient and the constant. So, yeah, this one is easy. 15 minus 1, okay? Leave the negative 5. 3t plus 1. 3 minus 5 is equal to 0. Some of the students, the work is really sloppy. You know what I mean? So after you factor, you forgot to say equal to 0. If you don't have an equation, you cannot solve. That doesn't make sense. So it has to be equal to 0 to use the 0 property. Okay, it is not always x, so be aware of the variable. Now t, is negative 1 over 3 or equation on the right, what would you do? Move everything to one side. Combine the like term. So minus y squared. Move the 1 over plus 1 plus 1. Okay. 3, 1, 2, 2. This is like play basketball. If you want to be good at shooting the hoop, you practice hundreds of times. When you do enough factoring, your speed will be faster. Otherwise, you're gonna sit there forever to try to figure out the factor, okay? Yeah, practice makes perfect. All right, there you go. Y equals to negative 2/3 or negative 2. So if you have extra time after you do the assessment, you can check if your answer is correct or not. So we can check. How do we check if this is the correct answer? We can say, oh, if x equals or y equals to 2, negative 2, substitute into the original equation. See if that's true. Negative 2 squared plus 8 plus 2 plus 3. So the left side is, what is that? 16 minus 16 right side, negative 2 square minus 1 is also 3. Yep, 3 equals to 3. So you can always check your answer this way. Okay. That works for the quadratic. So far, a couple examples are all quadratic factoring. Mrs. A say move everything to one side. So let's do that. Y cubed minus y squared. I'm gonna arrange them in the standard form in the descending order. How do we factor this? By grouping. Factor by grouping, remember? So on the assessment, this is big on factoring. We will give you all kinds of group factoring, right? Factor by grouping, factor quadratics, yes.
So will you tell us the skill to do, and you have to do that skill? Or do we, or can we just?
No, it's just like this, you kind of have
Oh,
to.
so you want us to identify what kind of,
Yeah, you need to identify what kind of factoring will apply,
So you just have to.
right? Previously, you do so many examples, it's like, is this difference of square, this sum of cube, difference of cube, perfect square trinomial?
So as long as you factor it like correctly.
Correctly, that's good, yes.
what?
You are right. I'm gonna group 2 and 2 together. So y squared, right? Y minus 1. Oh, this is, I know somebody's gonna mess up here. If you factor a negative out, what is the factor?
Minus.
Minus. When you distribute, it will be plus, okay? Be careful with that. Factor the negative out, the term has to change sign. Now you can continue to find the common factor. Okay, are we done here?
No.
Yeah, this is not factored completely. I can still keep going. What is it? Y plus 3, y minus 3. So, 0 product. Y equals to 1, and 3, or 3. Some of you, because this is solving, right? Some students might say, okay, I want to solve from here. Y squared equal to 9. You can do that, but just don't forget, you will have 2 solutions. Y is plus or minus 3, yeah? All right, what should you do first for this example? Yeah, always look for greatest common factor among all the terms, because it might reduce the complexity of the equation. So I'm gonna take out n first. So what's left will be a quadratic. All right, factor this. 2, 1, 1, 2, 4. Right? So 2 and another chance to mess up here.
你不是把 n 拿出来，然后你这里已经有一个 n 了。
Wait.
不是，因为你把这里拿出来，然后你又拿出来一个，那这样不是？因为你这里拿出来 2n， 然后你想对 2n。
I wrote X. Thank you.
你把这个 n 拿出来，
Everybody stop and look up here. What do I do with this n? Whatever you do not divide it by a variable. Some people go, I'm going to divide it n on both sides, so n is gone. Bye bye n. No, you cannot do that. You can divide by a number of the equation, but you cannot cancel the variable. You will lose the solution. So n is there to stay. So you have 3 factors. N can be 0, or that's 0, n is -1/2,
老师
or n is 2.
I don't know how to describe my question.
No, for some reason she decided to factor by two.
No, okay, because if I do the AC method, right, and then I turn out with 4 terms, after I do the 4 terms, I take 2n out. I already have an n, isn't that 2n squared?
对呢，
这样好奇怪哦。I don't know.
this is already a factor here. You cannot take n squared because there is no n squared for these 2 terms.
No. So
Only the first term.
So, no, but there's already an n already.
You cannot, there's
So
no
it's like
n here.
so like that.
There's
No, this
n
is from here, and then 这个 2n 是从这里，and then 这里。
不行，因为这个是
No, I thought you do 2 and then 2.
then you need to keep this out of the
So it's 2 times 2n. Okay. So 就是 n， 然后再乘以 2n。
Alright, this is the wrong thing. You cannot take n out and then plus. Because this is
This is what you taught us to do, bro.
anyway. Here, do you notice this is actually n squared and then
Okay.
minus 2n.
No,
If you
this-
write it, there
this
is no
n-
more n here.
This n is from here.
This is
可是不是我的问题，是因为你通常都要把全部的 cost， 这我的意思是说，你是不是要把这个拿出来，然后再这样子，or do you like
this is wrong here.
So
If
why?
you just want to do this,
and then you do 1, 2, and 1, 2.
then it is okay to factor this out within. You can within this do the other side. There is still n here.
反正你的意思就是说 n 在外面嘛。
Yeah, n is outside. So,
So
Sophie, you're gonna do this separately. Use AC method, yeah?
OK， 我懂你，就是 n 在外面。
Yeah, n is outside.
A is 2n.
But how do you know if it's outside or inside?
It is factored outside.
那你要怎么知道什么时候是 inside，什么时候 outside？
Yes.
For AC method is the 2n squared the a, or is it just 2?
So let me demonstrate the AC method here. You are trying to do this part separately. 2n squared minus 3n minus 2, right? So with the AC method is 2 times -2 is -4. And then you factor into what? -4 times 1. So by AC method, this 2 factor, I'm going to minus 4n plus n minus 2. Are you okay with this? So now you can group. So Sophia, that's what you do. You group
That's what I
this
did.
2.
Yeah.
But this is within this factor.
And then you don't give a.
You cannot
I mean, you don't care
separate
about
them.
the n that's outside, right?
You have to wait, yeah, until later. So that 2n is n minus 2 plus n minus 2. Now I can take out the n minus 2 and 2n plus 1. So now you replace this and then put it back here.
So where's your 2n?
And here, 2n is here.
你外面哦，yeah.
Yeah. Josh? Yes?
Yeah, wait, so you're saying like if, what's it called? If the, an's, if it's like a something squared, if a is something squared, you only take the 2n. You don't take like the square.
Coefficient. A is the coefficient of the n, the leading term.
So only 2.
Only 2, and C is just the constant.
So then you put -4 and then you put it back to the middle.
This is -4n and the 1n.
Yeah.
You put it in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Glad we sort that out. The same process can be used to solve polynomial functions. Okay. We are, instead of writing something equal to 0, we can say g of x is this function, quadratic function. And can you solve what the value of x does? G of x equals to 12. So you're gonna replace g of x with this. So x squared minus ax, right? Isn't this g of x? When this equals to 12, what is x? So solve this equation. You getting this? Right? Yes. Are we good? Set g of x equals to 12. That's what it means. And what did I say when we solve equation?
Make it a 0.
Move everything to one side. Yeah, and make that equation equal to 0. Factor. Move all terms to one side and factor. Minus 12.
Arrive on 12. Like how do you know it's really g of x from 2? Oh.
Right? You subtract 12 on both sides. So you got this equation equal to 0.
Yeah, but I mean like initially, like how do you know it's really g of x equals 12?
How do you
G
know?
of x
Yeah.
equals 12.
Like how do you know at first it's g of x?
Because it
They give
y
it to you.
equals to 12.
Yeah, but I mean.
This is y
They
equals to
ask
12.
you to solve.
Oh,
I
oh,
can
oh.
ask you to solve this. Yeah, and give it to you. Yeah.
Okay, so then you mean it's a given.
Given.
Oh.
Given, it's telling you to solve.
Okay.
Anything to
Minus 9 plus 1.
分享都来我。
我觉得我有这种，我觉得我也是。越顺了。
I'm sorry.
Negative 1加1。
Yeah, so these two values are supposed to satisfy the equation.
Oh my god, I did it so fast.
So if you check it, let's check g of negative 1.
I got negative 1. Oh, negative 1.
So that's 1 plus the 8. It's 12, see? That works. Yeah, you can check the 9 too. So that's the process of checking. Second, they also want you to solve. What about when g of x equals to negative 4?
Do the same thing.
Yeah, set x squared minus ax. Move all terms to one side. What is the factor? Minus 7 minus 1. Because when the middle term is negative and the product is positive, it has to be double negative.
Yeah.
Yeah. X is 7 or 1.
都太聪明了。I'm gonna move around.
做笨，不做 Nash。
那是谁？
Nash 是那个 freshman。他穿高衣服的那个 freshman。
Indoor boys. Okay, next.
Not my resident.
我转不过去。
I'm gonna go over one more problem. A picture is worth 1,000 words.
Pictures.
Yes. So a lot of times, just a bunch of words, right? Describe the question. If you can turn that into a diagram, that will really help. So Brian, do you mind to read this?
The length of a rectangle is 8 feet more than its width. If the area of the rectangle is 84 square feet, what are the dimensions of the rectangle?
So
好聪明哦。
we have a rectangle, so here is the rectangle we sketched. The given information is the length is 8 feet more than the width. With a word problem, we are trying to use algebra to help us, right? so with algebra, you need to set your variables. So we're gonna what do you want to set?
L equals length.
Huh?
L equals length.
Okay, L is equal
Length
to
in
the
feet.
length.
In
You can either set L, the length, or width. So sometimes we want to see which one is easier. Maybe width.
then do the
And just do A more means plus 8, right?
Yep.
So I'm gonna set W equals to the width
X squared 加 X squared.
in
feet.
feet.
Okay.
So this is the width. And since length is 8 more, so this is W
Plus
plus 8.
8.
There you go.
So parentheses W plus 8.
Yeah.
Feet.
They say the area is length times width. So area in terms of W will be W times W plus 8. And they say this is equal to 84. Do not try to find the combination already. Expand, move everything to one side to factor 5. So you're gonna do W squared plus AW minus 84.
Girl. Sorry.
Okay, what is the factor?
13 嘛
This is cursed. This is cursed. It's cursed.
Huh?
614.
Wait, what? I
Six.
thought. Oh,
614.
I didn't hear.
Okay, so 84
How
divided
do you all do it so
by 6.
fast?
How did they do it so
14, 14 minus 6 is 8. Good.
Yay.
Ew.
Maybe he is the
W minus 6 plus 14.
我考试上次都好变了。
So what do you think? The word problem, we need to consider the context. Only equals to 6 because the length cannot be
我上次
negative. Yes.
坐他旁边没有用。
What is the question asking about? Just the width? They are asking the dimension. So when W is 6, the length is
8
6
plus 6.
plus 8 is 14. So answer should be in a complete sentence.
The dimension of this rectangle.
A rectangle
Whoa.
is 6 by
8. 14. My bad.
feet square. Yeah? Make sure you have the unit, otherwise it's incomplete.
Wait, Miss A.
Okay.
I don't get how it's possible to get two different answers from the. I don't get how it's possible to get two values of width. Why?
Well, in this case, we're gonna eliminate that because
Yeah,
width
but-
cannot be negative. But in terms of a quadratic, really you're asking me, why when the quadratic equals to 0, why would that be true solution?
No, I meant like why would a rectangle like the width have two different answers?
There's no two different answers.
No, because the width can be negative.
When you
But-
solve the quadratic,
Yeah,
you
I
have
just-
two solutions, but
Yeah,
width cannot be negative,
you
so
cross
we
one out.
eliminate.
So if it was like not negative, both of them were not negative, what would happen?
It will not be. It shouldn't
Oh.
be. It shouldn't be. Yeah. Okay? So the question is actually like, okay, when the quadratic equal to 0, I'm gonna show you this. This is x-axis, this is y-axis. So my quadratic could be here, touching the x-axis at one point. So in this case, when you solve quadratic equal to 0, you will only get one solution. If my quadratic is like this, right? When this quadratic equal to 0, you see you have two zeros.
So it's wrong.
You got two solutions.
Oh.
If my quadratic is, my quadratic could be like above.
Oh, because there's two zeros.
Yeah, or below.
Oh.
If that's the case, when you
No
solve
solution.
no solution. There you go.
Okay.
So in this case, it's very clear. When
But how do you
set
know
a
how to
quadratic,
draw?
that's next lesson.
哦，
Oh yeah, 一切不用学。
对。
We have a whole quadratic unit.
No.
So that's why in this case, you see one of the solution is positive, one is negative. So your quadratic is like this. One positive solution, one negative solution. Okay?
是 chill 吗？
Alright, I'm gonna stop here
Yes.
for today.
chill 时间到了。